Thank you so much to all the Vaishnavas for joining today on this Bhagvatam class by His Grace Bhadra Prabhu on this wonderful topic of Katyayani vrata. As we know, this whole month of Margashisha, the gopis perform this vrata, which Bhadra Prabhu will be talking about why and how and what and where, etc. And what is the relevance of this vrata in the life of ours as a sadhaka. So His Grace Bhadra Prabhu is a very, very senior disciple of His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj. Has been in the path of Krishna consciousness for close to 40 plus years and has been a pillar in distributing Krishna consciousness through newer and newer ways to newer and newer people. And we know that how so amazingly Prabhuji conducts Rath Yatras all over the globe, and many Rath Yatras. Organizing one big program is a lot of effort and transcendental anxiety. But Prabhuji conducts those at multiple cities in multiple countries and sharing Krishna consciousness. And Prabhuji also every year goes to the Rajamandal Parikrama headed by His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj and others, and has been doing that for many decades. If you see His Holiness Loknath Maharaj's picture book about Rajamandal Parikrama, you will see Prabhuji's pictures in his 30s or with his young child Vishwambar Prabhu. I saw that recently. So, and most of you may be knowing the Mayapuris. His Grace Vishwambar Prabhu is the beloved son of Bhadra Prabhu. So in short, he is teaching through his example, through his family, through his children, through his words, through his preaching mood, how to serve Srila Prabhupada, how to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhuji, we are very, very grateful. We are very honored and blessed and fortunate that you are kindly with us today. And we are so eager to hear from you on this topic. So I request everyone to turn on their microphones to welcome His Grace Bhadra Prabhu by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari
Thank you so
Bol,
much.
Hari Bol.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for allowing to serve all of you. I am just a little fly who goes to the dirty places to find something. And this pastime which we will talk about is not for the people, particularly for me, who is on the bodily concept of life. Katyayani vrata is about the bodily concept of life. Katyayani vrata is also for the common people, it seems to be immoral, this pastime. But, and I'm not even qualified to speak about these pastimes. But since this is the Margashisha month, and Katyayani vrata is going on every year up to the Kartik, it starts, and it will end on Tuesday on the Punam. And we can learn lessons by hearing this pastime. And many acharyas, Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Sridhar Swami, has written commentary on this pastime. And also, it is we cannot imitate these great personalities, otherwise we will be in trouble. But we anusaran, we follow in their footsteps. So actually we can understand these pastimes by following their footsteps. And I'm not, but still I will try my best because every year in the Brajmandal Parikrama for last 34 years, we visit the Chirghat, and there is a Katyayani Devi's temple is there, and we talk about this pastime. So I kind of requested to Suvilas Govinda Prabhu, if you are like, then I can share this pastime and learn some lessons from this pastime. Okay. So let me chant the pranam mantra. It is the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 10th canto, chapter 22, text, and there are 28 texts, slokas, but the fourth sloka number 4, that's what we're going to talk about. And other slokas will be included in this pastimes. So mainly is the 10:22:4. Okay. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadhati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitantam Sidivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padanu Sahagana Shri Lalita Shri Shakavatam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasite Takta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Panchkalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Vyocha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasati Gaur Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So I will read the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I will read the sloka number 4 and this chapter 22nd. It says Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogini Adhishwari Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patitam me kurute namaha iti mantram japantasya taha pujam chakruha kamarikaha. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada's followers. Translation. Each of the young unmarried girls performed her worship while chanting the following mantra. O Goddess Katyayani, O great potency of the Lord, O possessor of great mystic power, and mighty controller of all, please make the son of Nanda Maharaj my husband from our obeisance unto you. Purport. According to various acharyas, the goddess of Durga mentioned in this verse is not illusory energy of Kṛṣṇa called Maya, but rather the internal potency of the Lord known as Yogamaya. The distinction between the internal and external or illusory potency of the Lord described in the Narada Pancharatra in the conversation between Shruti and Vidya. I can just read the English, is that okay? Because otherwise it will take a long time. So, okay. The Lord's inferior potency known as Durga is dedicated to his loving service. Being the Lord's potency, this inferior energy is not different from him. There is another superior potency, whose form is on the same spiritual level as that of God himself. Simply by scientifically understanding this supreme potency, one can immediately achieve the supreme soul of all souls, who is the Lord of all lords. There is no other process to achieve him. That supreme potency of the Lord is known as Gokuleshwari, the goddess of Gokula. Her nature is to be completely absorbed in love of God, and through her, one can easily obtain the primary of God, the Lord of all that be. This internal potency of the Lord has a covering potency known as Mahamaya, who rules the material world. In fact, she bewilders the entire universe, and thus everyone within the universe falsely identifies himself with the material body. From the above, we can understand that the internal and external, or superior and inferior potency of the Supreme Lord are personified as Yogamaya and Mahamaya, respectively. The name Durga is sometimes used to refer to the internal superior potency, as stated in the Panchratri. In all the mantras used to worship Krishna, the presiding deity is known as Durga. Thus, in the transcendental sound vibration, glorifying and worshiping the absolute Lord Krishna, the presiding deity of the particular mantra or hymn is called Durga. The name Durga therefore refers also to that personality who functions as the internal potency of the Lord and who is thus on the platform of Sudasattva, pure transcendental existence. This internal potency is understood to be Krishna's sister, known as Ekams or Subhadra. This is the Durga who was worshipped by the gopis in Vrindavan. Several acharyas have pointed out that ordinary people are sometimes bewildered and think that the names Mahamaya and Durga refer exclusively to the external potency of the Lord. Even if we accept hypothetically that the gopis were worshipping the external man, there is no fault on their part, since in their pastimes of loving Krishna, they were acting as ordinary members of society. Srila Prabhu comments in this regard. The Vaishnavas generally do not worship any demigod. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has strictly forbidden all worship of the demigods for anyone who wants to advance in pure devotional service. Yet, the gopis, who are beyond compared to their affection for Krishna, were seen to worship Durga. The worshippers of demigods also sometimes mention that the gopis also worship Goddess Durga, but we must understand the purpose of the gopis. Generally, people worship Goddess Durga for some material benediction. Here, the gopis could adopt any means to satisfy or serve Krishna. That was the super excellent characteristic of the gopis. They worship Goddess Durga completely for 1 month in order to have Krishna as their husband. Every day they prayed for Krishna, the son of Nand Maharaj, to become their husband. The conclusion is that a sincere devotee of Krishna will never imagine any material quality to exist in the transcendental gopis, who are the most exalted devotees of the Lord. The only motivation in all their activities was simply to love and satisfy Krishna. And if we foolishly consider their activities to be mundane in any way, it will be impossible for us to understand Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, ki jai, the devotees ki jai. So, for the common people, this pastime seems to be immoral. Why? Because if you go to the Ganges or Jamuna, there are bathing ghats. And in bathing ghats, the ladies usually have the separate ghat to bathe, and the gents have separate. Here the gopis are bathing, and Krishna is going there. And Krishna is not going alone. He is going with 4 of his friends. And we'll talk about it. And not just that, he goes and on top of that, he steals all the clothes of all these little girls. And goes on the top of the tree with all the clothes. You see? So people think it is immoral to do that. It seems to be in the material world. And second thing is that he is doing such a way that, he is telling them to come naked. They were bathing in a naked in the Jamuna river. Now understand, we will talk about it, that these gopis are not the ordinary personalities. They are Kumarika. They are only 3 or 4 years age. And Krishna is 7 years age when this pastime is taking place. So let's talk about it. As Jiva Goswami is saying, we can understand this pastime by following in their footsteps. Now, it is mentioned that Nandagaon's Kumaris, they worship this Katyayani Devi for 1 month, which is a Hemant Mas, which is the first month of winter after the Kartik, in December. And they had taken a vow to worship Katyayani Devi. And they were eating, it is mentioned, they were eating Havishyam. Havishyam is the simple, you have a mung dal and you have a rice, you mix it, you boil it, and you put little bit salt and turmeric. Whole month they were eating this Havishyam. And this is what, and this is also good for losing the weight. If someone has a has a problem with the weight losing, this is a good way to do it. And many Indian ladies, many young girls, they perform this Katyayani Vrat at home. We have seen in Brajvasi's young girls. So Sanatana Goswami is saying that Nanda Gopa Kumarika, means they were 4 or 5 years young age, and were performing this vrat. Now Nanda Vraja means Nandagaon around that area. It is a sloka in the mention, Nanda Vraja. And these gopis wanted, what was the purpose of this worshipping Katyayani Devi? Lord Kṛṣṇa as their husband. They wanted Lord Kṛṣṇa. So now Jiva Goswami raising the question. Jiva Goswami is saying, how is that the Kumarika, these are young girls, 4 or 5 years young age, and how is their Chetna comes to marriage? 4 or 5 years, and 4 or 5 years, girls doesn't know about marriage, doesn't know about husband and wife. Of course, this is Kali Yuga, so it's a different. But usually, because how is it that they want, and at the age of 4 or 5, they want Kṛṣṇa as their husband? How is that possible to think? So Sanatana Goswami is answering that, as we know in the material world, according to age, young boy and young girl, when the girl comes to the puberty at the age of 12 or 13 or 14, whatever, then they think about the marriage. Or the young boy usually when he's after the Pauganda age, after 12, 14, 15, 16, whatever age, around that time, he thinks that because Kama develops, Kama is already there. It's not that the child is innocent. Child is not innocent actually. But he is innocent in a sense that this Kama is not developed in the child. But as the child grows older, the Kama develops. So Sanatana Goswami says this is material, but here on the spiritual platform, it is about the bodily concept of life. To worship Kṛṣṇa, you don't need it. To worship Kṛṣṇa, whether it's a young boy or old man or the middle-aged man, it's the same. Same in a sense that it doesn't have to be age. Age has nothing to do with to having the loving relationship with Kṛṣṇa. So in this case, we can know that the Kumarikas, young girl 4 or 5 years, they had a pure. It seems to material world. It seems to be lusty desires, but it's not. It is their pure love. And of course, these are the Kumarikas had previously during the Lord Ramchandra's time. During Lord Ramchandra's time, there are different opinion is there. Garg Samhita says that the Mithilavasi during the Ramchandra time, as you know, when Lord Ram Ram went to marry Sita to Mithila. Mithila is the place of the King Dasrath. So when Lord Ram went to Mithila and he married to Sita, at that time, all these young girls were attracted to Lord Ram. And they wanted to marry with Lord Ram. Actually. But Ram had a ekapatni vrata. They say that one wife. But I will fulfill your desire, he had said, when I come as Kṛṣṇa. So Garga Samhita says Mithilavasini, but the Padma Puran says, and Sanatan Goswami says, this is the Dandkaryan Rishis, Dandkaryan Rishi. Means when Lord Kṛṣṇa, Lord Ram had gone to the forest for an exile, at that time he had gone to the Dandkaryan forest. And in Dandkaranya forest, all the rishis, they were attracted to Lord Ram, seeing the beauty of the Lord Ram. And Lord Ram is the omnipotent, omniscient. He knows what is within the heart, what the rishis are thinking. So at that time also Lord had said to them that I will not fulfill desire at present. When I come in when I appear as Kṛṣṇa, then I fulfill desire. So imagine from Treta Yuga to coming to end of Dwapara Kṛṣṇa, all this time they all were performing tapasya. And what was the purpose? To have Kṛṣṇa as their husband. So we can see that these Kumarika, there was no question of lust here. It's love. And that's what the point we have to understand. You see? That it is a pure love, and that's why it is difficult to understand this pastime. And Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya would not even discuss the confidence and pastimes of the Kṛṣṇa, Radha Kṛṣṇa in the public. See? But we are just touching the something from this pastime to understand for ourselves that ultimately we will have to come in our spiritual life. We will have to come above the bodily concept of life. We will come to realize. And that is the most important. To realize that speaking is different. I can speak on the Vyasas and talk about many things about, I'm not this body. But to come to realize, actually realize, it's going to take time. By practicing, by sadhana bhakti, we will come to that. Because that's why Krishna consciousness process is so powerful. So we have to come to body balika. I'm Indian, I'm this, I'm that, American, I'm this, I'm young man, I'm old man, I'm a man, I'm a woman. This is all the bodily concept of life. So now the question arises. So the point is that we talk about this is eternal. Because Jivera Sarupa Krishna Nitya Das. We have eternal relationship with the Lord. I'm a spirit soul, and I have eternal relationship. We all have, everybody has eternal relationship with the Lord. So this was eternal, that was there in this 4-year fire Kumarikas. Now the question is, who is Katyayani? Question arises, who is Katyayani? So it is said that she is the internal energy. Keep it in mind. That's what is mentioned in the purport. Whole purport is practically talking about that. This Katyayani is the internal energy of the Lord. She is not the ordinary Durgas which people worship. No. And it is said that there was a rishi who was called Katyayana. He was worshipping this deity, and that's why it is called Katyayani deity. Now the question arises, how did this desire came within the heart of this 4 or 5 years young girl? How the desire came? That Kṛṣṇa is their husband. So it is mentioned they were attracted by the Kṛṣṇa's beauty. By hearing his flute, playing his flute, they were attracted by this little boy. Huh? And this is called Purvarag. Purvarag means the both persons, like in the material world, you can say the example of the young boy and young girl. This is a mundane example. Young girl has heard about this young boy. How does he look? What does he do? How do who's the parents? So many things they talk about it, right? So, but the young girl has not seen him, and that is called Purvarag. So here, the young girl, the little girls, they were hearing about. They will hear that he's playing the flute. He's going to herd the cows. He's doing so and so. Demon here killed. So they would hear these little girls. So they had this Purvarag within their heart developed, and they arise that they desire Krishna as their husband, and they would talk with each other about their desire. Jiva Goswami writes in Gopal Champu that these gopis would go on the they get together, go to the bank of Jamuna, and they would talk with each other about having Krishna their husband. And but they would cry and they would say, this is not going to happen. It will not happen, because our gopas, they will not agree with having Krishna as our husband. And on top of that, we are from the same gotra, so they will not accept. They will not accept. So they wanted to, and they would cry. They would cry with each other and help each other, and empathize with each other, and they would do that. And they thought it's too many obstacles. It's not going to happen. But they had that desire. Now, what happened? Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi is the Devi which always helps in the pastimes of Radha Krishna. That's why we chant we worship Vrinda Devi, Tulsi Devi. And she went and she asked these gopis that why are you all crying? So the young girls, they mentioned that we want to have Krishna as husband, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So Vrinda Devi said, don't worry. I know how you can make impossible to possible by the process called Siddha Vidya. And this was told to me by Purnamasi. And by following this process, impossible will turn into possible. So gopis asked how to follow this process. Please tell us. So Vrinda Devi told them whole process of following this vow, and gopis started to follow this vow. Now, how they were following this process, and that is in the chapter it is mentioned. They would get up early in the morning before Brahma Muhurat, call each other by name, get together, and they would glorify Krishna, holding their hands with each other. And remember, this is in December, cold month, heavy cold. If you go to Vrindavan at present, it's cold, the month of December, January. And imagine the bank on the Jamuna. Jamuna's water is cold. See, and they would walk. Now, at presently, the Nandagram to go to Tapovan and then Chirghat is around 15 miles at present. So they would walk all the way from Nandagram, get together, thousands of gopis, young girls, they get together, hold their hands, and they would walk from Nandagram to Tapovan by glorifying Krishna, chanting the glories of Krishna, chanting in the form of the poems, just like Mother Jashoda when she was churning the butter for Krishna, just for Damodar Leela. What was she doing? She was chanting. She was chanting. She had Krishna did this, Krishna. She had a form in the poems, and this Srila Prabhupada recommended for devotees to have all these Krishna's pastimes turn into poems and chant. So here they were doing the same thing. So they would walk, they come on the bank of the Jamuna at Tapovan, which is Tapovan is present, is there. Sometimes you go in the parikrama or go on your own, you can go to Tapovan, and then there will be Chirka. So they would go, they would leave their clothes on the bank of the Jamuna, and after taking bath, they would put on the same clothes, and then they would worship Devi making murti from the sand. They would make the Katyayani Devi from the sand, and they would worship. Now Uddhava has told, Krishna had told Uddhava, there are 8 kinds of murtis. Murti is like made up from the stone, made up from the dhatu, means the silver or gold. I mean, or what do you call the anyhow, you know what I'm talking about, dhatu. Then also money, like Saligram Shila. Also murti is in writing, also one of the murti. Painting by mind, and also murti made from the sand or dirt. These are 8 kinds of murti. So they would follow the process. But what was the main point of this puja was to chant this mantra, Katyayani Mahamaya. So every day they would do puja, they would do offering, and they would worship, and they would chant this mantra, which is the slok number 4 every day. And what is the slok says? It says about the Krishna as their husband. Now they didn't say Krishna. They say Nanda Gopasuta, son of Nanda Maharaj. Yes. Why they are saying, we will talk about that. So Vrinda Devi had told them to chant this mantra. Now Mahamaya, that was a sloka in the mention. But understand, Lord Krishna has all the opulences. Here it is the internal potency of the Lord, Yogmaya. She is internal potency of the Lord. And Mahayogeshwari, with possessor of great mystic power. Krishna is Yogeshwar, who can make impossible to possible. Now they would use the word Nanda Gopasutam, the son of Maharaj Nanda. So Sanatan Goswami is raising question. Why wouldn't they call directly? Say that instead of saying Nanda Gopasuta, they can say Krishna is our husband. They would have said that, right? Krishna is husband. But the point, and then on top of that, they are calling future father-in-law's name is not proper, right? Nanda Maharaj will be the future father-in-law, and they are calling Nanda Gopasuta, son of Nanda Maharaj, son of Nanda. You see, so it is said that of course we are in Kali Yuga here, that it is calling name of future husband is not proper. We are talking about the Vedic culture here. You see. Nowadays, She's there. They are anyhow. I mean, we don't want to go through that, but we know what happens in Kali Yuga, right? Calling everybody, their name, and they do all nonsense anyhow. That is. So the future husband is not called by this. He is not called by the proper name. And now, if they had called Kṛṣṇa, let's say, instead of calling Nanda Gopasudha, they would have called Kṛṣṇa as our husband. Then what can happen? Someone else whose name is Kṛṣṇa, he will come up. See? Someone else, other Gopal's name is Kṛṣṇa, and he will come up. Hey, you're calling me, so I'm going to get married. So that's why they didn't use Kṛṣṇa. Also, Vishnu and Kṛṣṇa is none other. Vishnu can come up when they call Kṛṣṇa. Right? So, anyhow, there is another Prashna, we will talk some other time. It happened to one Rishi. But here, they wanted to marry only Nanda Gopasudha, son of Nanda Maharaj, only son of Nanda Maharaj. You see, who's Kṛṣṇa. Now, so they use the word Nanda Gopasudha, means Gopa cowherd boy Nanda Maharaj and his son, whose name is Kṛṣṇa, whom we want to have our husband. Now the question is arising that they were worshipping Katyayani Devi. But their consciousness was to have a Kṛṣṇa as their husband. How is that? So it is important where our consciousness is. When we worship the Lord, where is our consciousness? Where is our mind? If we can do mechanically worship the Lord, but our mind is involved. And this is most important. And we have learned from the fourth canto in the case of King Prachin Parishat and Narad Muni conversation. And so many slokas were mentioned by Narad Muni, right? About the King Prachin Parishat. And in that, Narad Muni is saying to Prachin Parishat that, look, mind is the center of all our activities. Mind is the one. Mind is the one is causing our to go in the material world. Mind is the storehouse of all our desires from previous lives. So that's why when we worship the deities, when we hear, we chant, and this applies to me also, that we have to this process, Krishna conscious process is not mechanical. It is a full concentration of the mind to engage in this. Then we progress easily. See? Otherwise, we do everything mechanically, our sadhana bhakti, but our mind is somewhere else. Then it takes long time. Of course, the process is powerful. It will bring mind back someday, but it will take a longer time. Say, just for example, here is they are worshipping Katyayani, but their consciousness is to call out Kṛṣṇa as their husband. For example, let's say Lord Shiva is worshipping Lord Shiva. Vaishnavana Methasambhu, right? Lord Shiva is the greatest Lord. Now, Sukadeva Goswami is mentioned here that they are worshipping the Katyayani, but their consciousness is to have a Kṛṣṇa because they want Kṛṣṇa as their husband. See? So before the sunrise, Udilo Aruna, sun Sarthi is Aruna, and Arun comes before the sun, right? So So they all wake up each other, getting together, coming at the bank of Jamuna, leaving clothes on the bank, and they would take a bath. That they would go naked in the Jamuna to take a bath. And then they would make the murti from the sand, worshipping, chanting their mantra. So the Jiva Goswami says that after following this process, they would dismantle the murti, go home and go to sleep. So that parents doesn't know where they had gone. They don't know that they were going to bank of the Jamuna and their following process. But so nobody knew about them. They doing the only Krishna knew. Krishna knew that these young Kumarikas are going during Brahmarat time and doing the Katyayani vrata. He knew about it. See? Now the question might be arise about their dress. They were wearing the same dress. They went to bed with a dress and they got up and they keeping the same dress and going to the bank of the Jamuna, putting the dress on the bank of the Jamuna and take a bath and then worshipping the deities. Usually, as we know, when we go on the altar, we have a fresh clothes, right? We wear a fresh clothes, have a nice tilak, we take a bath, we wear a fresh clothes, put the tilak, and then we go on the altar and worship the deities, offering whatever we do. So here, the Jiva Goswami is saying that so then Sanatana Goswami says no. When they get up in the morning, they would change the dress, but they were wearing silk dress, and silk is considered to be not contaminated. It doesn't consider to be contaminated, and that's why, of course, nowadays it's difficult. But this is what I talk about the previous time, where silk was pure. And the main point of the following this vow was that they had a faith and enthusiasm for 1 month. So at the last day, on the 30th day, 29th day, last day, Kṛṣṇa came there. Now the question might be arise that whichever Lord you worship, that Lord is supposed to come, right? If you're worshipping Lord Shiva, then after performing the tapasya, then at the end, who is going to come? Lord Shiva comes. If you worship Brahma for whole month, with a vow, with some kind of benediction you want to get, who is going to appear there? Brahma appears, right? Brahma appears. But here, after worshipping whole month, Katyayani Devi didn't appear. Kṛṣṇa appeared. Why is that? Because you worship Lord Shiva, Shiva will appear. Right? So why Kṛṣṇa has to come? So then Sanatana Goswami says that Katyayani Devi knew the elevated position of the gopis. This is the important point. She knew that who these gopis are, the Kumarikas. Externally, they were worshipping Katyayani Devi. But they were the gopis, and they were very dear to Lord Kṛṣṇa. They were a lover of Kṛṣṇa. And Katyayani thinking, I'm the servant of Kṛṣṇa. I'm a servant of Kṛṣṇa. How can I go there? I'm a servant. See? It is not proper as a servant to appear there and give benediction. No. And she knew that Vrinda Devi had told them about this vow. So she was happy. Katyayani was happy. But she didn't think it is proper to appear before gopis and give benediction. So Lord Kṛṣṇa came, and she also knew that they were worshipping with faith and enthusiasm. Now, so on the last day, which is will be on Tuesday, Lord Kṛṣṇa didn't come alone. He came with his 4 of his friends. And this is the mention named Dama, Sudama, Vasudama, and Kinkir. These are the 4 friends he brought. Now these 4 friends, whereas Kṛṣṇa was around 7, and these 4 were around 4 or 5 years age. And we know in the young age, if there are boys who are 4 or 5, and someone who is older, 7 or 8, and 7 or 8 young age of boy says, "Let's go." Do you think the young boy is going to ask, "Where are we going?" Of the boys who are 4 or 5 years? No, they're not going to ask. Okay, let's go. He's taking us, we're going with him. So this is what happened. On this morning, early morning, he knew at the end of this month, last day, he knew that these Kumarikas are performing the tapasya, and this is the end of their vow. So he called this boy and said, "Let's go." Now, so he came and he knew where they were performing tapasya. Now, Jiva Goswami is describing how the atmosphere was so beautiful there. Because these Gopi Kumarikas were not ordinary personalities. They were so beautiful little girls. And they came to the bank of the Jamuna, put their clothes and go to take a bath, right? And there were lotus flowers in that Jamuna. And these 4 Kumarikas, they are in the Jamuna up to the neck. The neck is above the neck and the face is outside the water. And there is a full description that there are these thousands of gopis, young girl, and they're looking, whole atmosphere was like, they're looking like lotuses, and these lotuses, their hairs of the lotuses were more beautiful than the lotuses in the Jamuna. They were so beautiful, little girl. You see? So Jiva Goswami is describing whole atmosphere about that. See? So Lord came with the 4 Gopas. He didn't tell where we are going, he just said, "Let's go." See? So after coming, Lord told them to take all the clothes and climb on the Kadamba tree. So question is, why did the Lord bring all the 4 boys with him? He would have come alone. He said, no. He thought there will be so many clothes. I will alone cannot take all the clothes. So he brought these 4 boys with him to help him to steal all the clothes of all the dresses of the gopis, to help him. You see, so many clothes. It is generally said that when you do a meditation, then you meditate alone. When you want to study, then study 2 persons. When you want to learn the music, 3 persons. See? When you want to travel, then it is mentioned 4 persons. But when you want to go for fighting, then you take many persons with you to fight. So here come with this 4. So gopis were taking bath, and with his friend they took all the clothes, climbed on the Kadamba tree, and they were waiting for the gopis' attention. And Lord told the gopas to laugh loudly, so that the gopis, which is Kumarikas, which is in the water, can hear, "Oh, someone has come here." And they had a full faith, and they knew who's that gonna be. Internally, they knew who has come here. So when they were laughing, all these gopis, they heard that someone is here. You see. And but when they saw, when they saw, and they were internally, they were happy. But externally, they saw that all the dresses were gone from the bank of the Jamuna. Now imagine you are naked in the Jamuna and clothes are gone. So and its water is so cold in the month of December. They are shivering. But they know who has come. So internally they were happy. See? So now they are first, they are think that our desires will be fulfilled. So now first, so Lord, so they saw that their clothes are not there, but they are saying that clothes are already on the bank, on the Kadamba tree. All the dresses are hanging on the Kadamba tree. So Kṛṣṇa is first saying that you all come out of the water here and take your clothes. Here the clothes, here I am, take your clothes. But they don't want to come out. So they they are shivering in the water. So they use the process which is called Samadama Danda. So first they are praising to Kṛṣṇa. That look, you are the son of Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj is most prestigious in our society, our community here. No. And the son of Nanda Maharaj would not do like that. He would not happy that what are you doing, taking away the clothes of the young girls. This is not good. And it will be not good for the prestige also, for the prestige of your father. So please give the clothes. Kṛṣṇa would not say anything. Then they are saying, look, we are your maid servants. Gopis says, we are your maid servants. Please give our clothes. We will do whatever you can. Well, then Kṛṣṇa says, well, you are our maid servants, and I'm telling you to come out of the water and take your clothes. Still, they are a little bit not willing. So then they are using the danda. Look, if you don't give our clothes, we will go to Nanda Maharaj and we will lodge a complaint against you. They don't want to listen. He doesn't want to listen. That he says, Kṛṣṇa said, my father is not going to chastise me. He loves me, I love him. Then they finally say, look, we will go to the king of Mathura, Kṛṣṇa, and we will lodge complaint against you, King to Kṛṣṇa. He said, Kṛṣṇa cannot come here. What Kṛṣṇa is going to do? So finally he says, look, you are saying we are your maid servants, so please give the clothes. Come here and take the clothes. So they come out of the water, all the young girls, covering their pubic part, the lower parts, with their hands tied. They're coming out and they are asking for the clothes. Kṛṣṇa says no. They are out. Remember, they are out of the water in front of Kṛṣṇa. Right? He's still on top of the tree, Kadamba. So now he said, you have to do one thing. He said, what now? You have to move around, put your two hands, palm hands, and pray to the Jamuna Devi. And ask for the forgiveness. What is that forgiveness? Forgiveness is that you have perform, we have gone to take a bath naked. And this is the offense. So that's why when we go take a bath in the sacred waters, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, we don't go to take a bath naked. We always have some clothes on. So we have done this. Krishna wanted to make sure that there is no any offense left on the part of these younger gopis. You see? So he had them do that. So they are moving around, offering obeisances to the Jamuna Devi and asking for the forgiveness. Now Krishna says, here is your clothes. And Krishna is very happy. Krishna is very happy that they perform. Now, what is this last sloka of the Siksashtakam? Aslishyava padatam pinashtama darsana marma karotuva yatha tathava vidadhatu lampato mata prananata sevana. Whether you whatever you embrace me or you kick me, whatever, but I am your servant. So here the young girls, they were cheated, deprived of their modesty, and they were made to act like a dolls, like a little doll. And although their clothes were stolen, they didn't feel inimical towards Lord Krishna. They were happy to associate with their beloved. So after this, they remained, they didn't leave. They had their dresses on, they remained. So Lord Krishna understood their determination and execution of this strict vow. Lord Krishna knew that. So Lord said that next Sharad Purnima, He said, you will have Maharaj with me. And this is the last shloka number 25 and 26 of this chapter. So like this, these gopis, little young girls, they performed this Katyayani vrata, and Lord Krishna fulfilled their desire. So this is we can learn many lessons from this pastime. Understand this pastime is we have to follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. And second point is to understand that this gopis' love is not a lust, it is about the bodily concept of life. So that's why Lord Chaitanya says, Gopir Bhartu Padakamalayur Das Dasami Dasa. Gopis' love is the highest love. So thank you for allowing to serve all of you. Thank you again. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, I think Vasudhi Mataji has a question. So if you have a question or a comment, we can take 2-3 questions. Yes, Vasudhi Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for today's class, Prabhuji. I learned so much today. And this is like my realization as you explained about pastime of Krishna's stealing gopis' clothes and in the cold water. So I'm connecting that with we know that if Krishna wants, he can steal everything from us and make us to come to his shelter. Prabhuji, that's the connection I just thought to make it.
Yes. Remember yesterday when Narayani Mataji gave a class and some question was there that the people who want to come to Krishna, when they would hear, they would say, well, when I come to Krishna, he would take away everything from me. I'll be just a beggar. But that is requires special mercy. He will do only to the special cases, just like he did in case of Srila Prabhupada. So we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that. Krishna will not take away everything. He will actually give his more. He is so kind. He is so merciful. See? But in special cases, it happened in the life of Srila Prabhupada. So yeah, that's true. Thank you. Any other point or question?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, I have a small question.
Mm-hmm.
So in the later part, there is mention of Krishna's sister Subhadra Devi,
Mm-hmm.
Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Maharani, and marriage of Subhadra to Arjuna, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But in the childhood pastimes, there is not much mention. Or is there any reason, or can you elaborate about it?
Oh, you meant about Subhadra?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Well, what I understand is Subhadra is all the internal potency of the Lord. And here they are showing this Katyayani is talking about that she is the internal potency of the Lord. She is not the external potency, which is usually when you say Durga, then people think Durga is the external potency of the Lord. So here Katyayani is the internal potency, and there he's telling just like Subhadra, just like when Kamsa, when Kamsa was gonna kill the eighth child of Devaki. Then when Vasudeva brought Krishna there and brought the Yogamaya, when he brought, she was Yogamaya, and that's why Yogamaya flew away in the sky when Kamsa wanted to kill. It was Yogamaya, that's why it flew. And then after that, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Yogamaya come in touch with the material energy and became different Durgas, different Vaishnavi Devi, and all these different Durgas are there in the India, in the different temples. So similarly here, the Katyayani is Yogamaya. And of course, Subhadra Devi is also his sister to perform the pastimes of the Lord. They are eternal. That's the point. They're eternal. Just like Arjuna is eternal servant of Krishna. When Krishna appears, Arjuna also comes. Bhishmadev also comes. That's my understanding. I don't have more detail about that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
Pranam Prabhuji.
Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna. Ramchandra ki jai ho.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
How is the brother doing? Good?
Oh, he's doing good. I spoke to him last night.
Yeah, I spoke to him a couple of days ago.
Thank you very much. Thank you for a great lecture. Dandala.
Thank you. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Silas Prabhu, want to?
Hare Krishna, Bhadra Prabhuji is so nice lecture with so many wonderful details. Prabhuji, my question is, so the gopis were praying to become Krishna's wife, but they didn't actually become Krishna's wife, but by seeing them naked, Krishna is accepting them as a wife. Is that what we understand from this?
Well, as we know in the Vrindavan, in Dwarka that's what Parakiya, that's what it is, or in Vrindavan is Parakiya Ras, where it seems to be all the gopis seems to be having the affairs with this young boy. But that is the highest one. And they are longing for it. And this is their life. This is their life. Only Krishna is there. Even though externally all the gopis in Braj, they are married to their husband, but their real love is with Krishna. And also Brajvasis or Brajvasi husband who has come, they are not ordinary persons either. They are coming from the spiritual world, you see. But in Dwarka is different. What is it called? It's Parikya, and second one is called, I forgot the name.
Yeah, Dwarka is Swakiya in union.
Exactly.
Vrindavan separation, kind of
Parikya, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like that. So in Dwarka is different because in Dwarka, Kṛṣṇa is as a king. And as we know, he has extended himself 16,108 Krishnas. Right? And when he come for the meeting in the Raj, then he's become one. Then he goes out. You see. So that's what it is, a parikya. But the point for Brajvas is they don't know anyone but Krishna. Anything happens, they call out to Krishna. That's my understanding. Okay.
So only Krishna saw them naked, right? Not Sudama or any of the other.
No, right, Krishna. Because Krishna, omnipotent, omniscient, he knows. Yes, of course. It is said in the material world also that only the wife can be naked only in the front of the husband. She will not be naked in front of anybody. Of course, this is Kali Yuga, so everything goes. But this is what Vedic culture. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I guess there is no questions. So thank you. Srivilas Govinda Prabhu, thank you for allowing me to serve all of you with this little fly. Thank you. Allow me to share something with all of you.
We are so grateful, Prabhuji. We are so grateful that you took your time to share this Kṛṣṇa Katha with us in this month of Katyayani vrata and shared how we can properly understand that it's only through the devotees and through the acharyas we can understand the pastimes in the right way, or try to understand in the right way, and what lessons we can learn. Only the devotees and the acharyas can bring that out. So let's express our deep gratitude to His Grace Bhadra Prabhu for sharing this wonderful katha by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. His Grace Bhadra Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Katyayani vrata ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone.